Trevor Palmer. I am AVP Business Development, the Edmonton South District for Canadian Western Bank. So I'm a career full-time banker, but I'm actually also a volunteer firefighter. I'm a deputy chief on a very active, very busy fire department. Officially on my page, I think it says that I'm a 3-year MoBro. This is my 7th official year participating. So Movember was always important to me for drawing some awareness to men's cancers. When I first started participating, I didn't really have a direct connection, but I've always been very interested in the mental health side. So when Movember really jumped into the mental health space, it kind of catapulted me into wanting to really get involved. My role on the fire department, we're faced with things that arguably no human being should have to see, some of the things that emergency responders have to see. This year I have a little bit more personal involvement. Someone that is very close to me is actually is soon to undergo surgery for a men's cancer, between the pandemic and everything else that's been going on, it's been pushed back. That surgery just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. I've been on this department for 17 years, I think. And in those 17 years, there's been a lot of things that we've seen and been involved with that no one should ever really have to be involved with. As starting to move the needle on mental health and mental health initiatives, I think that there's enough of us involved in what we do now and that understand and recognize and talk about the fact that men's mental health and men's suicide in first responders is massive. You shouldn't be embarrassed to say, I am not okay. And I think that the only way we're going to start to fix that, culturally, especially in a small town like where I live, is for people to stand up and say, I'm involved. And I believe that this is important around the community that I live in, and maybe the machismo. I don't like that word, but that's definitely something that's here, and that goes right from guys not wanting to go and get a PSA exam, or self-examinations to make sure that something's not wrong with your with your testicles, quite frankly. I think it's important that we talk about it. I think it's important that we recognize that, you shouldn't be embarrassed to say the word testicle, like I just was in a lot of ways. You shouldn't be embarrassed to say prostate. You shouldn't be embarrassed to say, I am not okay. And I think that the only way we're going to start to fix that, culturally, especially in a small town like where I live, is for people to stand up and say, I'm involved. I think that we have opportunity as a bank, and maybe it's just as a population of employees, to really make a dent on fundraising for things that we really care about. Obviously, the bank has some pretty big fundraisers that they're involved with corporately, and that's awesome. I think everybody knows, between United Way and things like that there's some pretty awesome programs available to us all as employees to take part in. I would love to see Movember become one of these major events that the bank really latches onto as well. I think that CWB is a bigger force than even we give ourselves credit for. We want to be the best bank for business owners in Canada. That's awesome. That's a great statement as a corporation. And I think though that we're still small enough and nimble enough that we can make a pretty big impact. CWB is quite passionate right now, especially about making sure that the mental health of their employees is in check, and that the resources and tools are available to us. It aligns pretty nicely with what Movember is trying to achieve. We're a people first organization. Makes me proud to think that we can probably make a bit of a dent, in a cause like Movember. That you'll consider participating in Movember, and if you won't, if you're not interested in participating as an actual registrant, then I sure hope that you'll consider a donation.